Chelsea have done it again. They've lost another match in the Premier League 1-0 to Wolves. So I'm going to pass it off directly to you. What are your thoughts on this match?
Chelsea are an embarrassment, man. We are so unbelievably shit. It doesn't matter if we have Graham Potter, Bruno Saltor, Frank Lampard. We are utterly abysmal. We could have Sir Alex Ferguson managing this team for all I care, and we'd still be shit. This club is an absolute joke. This season, it's over. We're not even getting Conference League football. We're in a relegation battle. We are genuinely, we're on the way it's headed right now. We could be in a relegation battle for the remaining end of the season. It is an utter joke. One shot on target. This might have been the worst performance of the season. And that's saying something. That's how bad this was, especially that first half. That first half was utterly abysmal. Might have been one of the worst halves of football I've ever seen in my entire life. But let's be honest here. I'm not here to give blame to Frank Lampard because he's the interim manager. He's not going to be here past the end of this season, hopefully. So I'm not here to bash Frank Lampard and say he's a terrible manager because realistically, he almost got Everton relegated. We know he's not a great manager, but he's just doing it, for the love of Chelsea for an interim job until the end of the season. But when you look at the starting lineup, are you really surprised about this result? I mean, look at the starting lineup. Kepa, not good enough. He needs to go. We need to get a new goalkeeper in the summer desperately. Cucurella, shit once again, terrible. We've known this. Then Conor Gallagher starting in the midfield. He's just not good. Conor Gallagher is just not good. And then Kai Havertz starting at striker. I mean, what's the point? What are we really even doing? And so at this point, there's 4 players in the starting 11 that have to go. Like it's no ifs, ands, buts about it. They have to go. And 3 of those players today, the 3 best players for Wolves today, Cucurella, Gallagher, and Havertz. Those were the 3 best players for Wolves today. We're basically playing down 3 men when you start those guys in the starting 11. So I just don't see much hope for this group of players. It doesn't matter who we have as the manager, because I know some people are going to blame Frank Lampard and say, well, his tactics were bad. He should be getting more out of these players. How many managers do we have to go through to realize that we can't get anything out of these players? They're not good enough. So, look, I'm not putting blame on Frank Lampard. We knew he's not a great manager. I look at these players and I say, this was the response you give. You have an interim manager, a club legend comes back to the club who's worked with a lot of these players, and that's the response you give? Losing to Wolves? Look, I know it's away from home. I know we've been poor this season, but you have to get a result against Wolves with your new manager. You have to. We'll talk about Real Madrid in a second here, but this is just an unacceptable performance. And honestly, I'm a little bit sick to my stomach thinking about it.
I'm shocked that Chelsea fans in general are still surprised about this. I mean, look, you can finally, what I took off after that game, you finally can't blame Potter. I'm tired of every video you come out here just kept on saying, oh, Potter's got to go, Potter's out, Potter out. The players are just not good. And I said this the final game before he was sacked, that these players are just not good. Like, no one could make this work. I don't know if you think Julian Nagelsmann is the second coming of Christ. We're getting close to Easter. Maybe you think, he can come back and be Christ. That's impossible. It's not happening. You cannot, there's nothing you can make this team good. It's just not, it's horrible. Is that a good 11? The only good player you have here is like Reece James and maybe Enzo Fernandez. That's it. Everybody else is just bad. And N'Golo Kante obviously didn't play. He's class, but obviously there's still lots of questions of his fitness and if he could get back to that level. But still, they're just not good. And no, having Frank Lampard there, it's not his fault. I mean, he's not a good manager in general. He almost got Everton relegated, so it's not like he's a great manager to really go off. But I just don't get like what this is almost it has to be expected to a certain point. You bid bad at the start of the season and almost to less than 10 games less, and you're still bad. I don't know. I feel like you guys should have gotten the notice, gotten the whole point of the picture that this 11 is just so bad. You have like people like Mudryk and Aubameyang coming off the bench, man. It's just like, what is this?
Well, I mean, under certain points with Graham Potter, I kind of expected to lose, especially some games where I look ahead in the schedule and I say, look, I expect to lose that game under Graham Potter. The only reason why you expect a little bit of a better performance with these players is because it's a new manager. Normally, you see players get better under a new manager, the new manager bounce. It's a real thing. And we didn't even get that. Chelsea are so bad, we couldn't even get a new manager bounce. Frank Lampard's came in, and it's just the same thing. It's honestly, it got worse. It got worse. That's how bad it was. Because I swear, that performance today, the football itself, maybe, I mean, obviously we've had worse results than a 1-0 to Wolves, but the football itself might have been the worst football we've played. We couldn't hold possession to save our lives. Wolves at certain points just absolutely dominated us. They were pressing us like crazy. Wolves, I give credit to Wolves, Julian Lopetegui, all of those players. They deserve this win. But I mean, it just goes to show how shit Chelsea are, because Wolves weren't that great. I mean, they were good enough to win, but I don't think they were that spectacular either. We're just bad. Like, it's just what it is. We're just not good right now. And it's crazy to say it. I don't know how many times we've said it. How many times do I have to say that we've spent 600 odd million and we're just not good? Like, how much more money do we have to
You
spend?
spent 600 million when you were ninth just to get to 11th. Like it's unbelievable. Like the fact that that this conference league is something that's new, and you've somehow found a way to miss that. I
Yeah.
they've given you more opportunity to like possibly make Europe, and
Mm-hmm.
you've still missed it. You've decided, you know what? Nah, I'm good. I'd
But
rather go to the championship.
honestly, though, like, we're gonna stay in the Premier League, all
Yeah.
things considered. You know,
As much as it is banter to
it
say,
is
you know,
banter to say
Chelsea in
that
the
we could get
Champions League,
relegated, but we're gonna stay in. Yeah, we're gonna stay in the
I
Premier League, and
if yeah, that's the only thing that could be shocking of Chelsea, that they actually get relegated, but they'll probably
yeah.
just sit on
There's
like right above the
w-
relegation,
there's no
battle.
way it's gonna be that bad,
It can't be
but
that bad,
I think you before we get into the Real Madrid game coming up next, which is the whole topic on its own. I think you can make the argument that honestly, it's better for Chelsea to not get the Conference League. It's just one less thing to worry about next season. I mean, I understand you want to win something, you want to have that trophy available, but honestly, I think you've seen, you look at clubs in the past. Typically, you don't have European football. It can benefit you in the league. So if we're really just trying to get top four next season, get back into the Champions League, having no European competition at all could actually benefit us, because it's not like the Europa League where if you win it, you get into the Champions League. In the Conference League, if you win it, you get into the Europa League.
That's good.
That's not
Uh,
really what we're aiming for.
that's good for
We
y'all.
we should get into the Europa League just based on the league table alone next season. We should be top six. I mean, it's a new fresh season, new
You should
manager.
be.
We should be, assuming we can make signings as well. So realistically, it might be better. I think you can make the argument that it's better to no Conference League at all, but we don't even have a choice. We're not making it. We're just shit.
Yeah, it's not like, oh yeah, we're choosing not to make the conference league. You're
Exactly.
just not
Yeah.
making it
We're
because
just
you can't make it.
we're just not making it at all. But I
Yeah.
think that leads us into the next point, which obviously that means after this pathetic, disgraceful, embarrassing result against Wolves, now we have Real Madrid midweek. And I'll ask you, as a Real Madrid fan, what are you taking from this Chelsea result? What do you think is going to happen on Wednesday?
Look, all banter aside, all jokes, all I wholeheartedly believe we'll win 7-0. Like there's just this team is just so bad. If we don't win 7-0, I will be disappointed. If we finish the 90 minutes and we have anything less than 7-0, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna be annoyed, because this team is just so bad. It's so horrible. Unless Frankie Lampard himself is gonna suit up and get in there and be a part of this game, we're winning 7-0. This Chelsea team is in a disarray that I fear no one on that front line to score even anything. I mean, have a chance. You might not have a shot on target, bruv. Like you struggle to get a shot on target against Wolves. So it's like, look, Benzema could score 6, like just by himself. So I think I fear nothing going into that match. To be honest, I might not even watch it, man. It's just like, whatever. It's just a whatever type match. But I'm just fully confident. Like I've already told you before many times, like even no banter aside, I'm already looking to the next round. Like, that's just
Mhm.
how it simply is.
Yeah. I've had some people in the comments tell me that I needed to, be more positive as a fan. And I mean, I kind of agree with you. How could I be more positive as a fan? People in the comments are telling me, oh, well, you need to be more positive. It's not that I don't want the club to win. Of course, I want Chelsea to beat Real Madrid. I pray every night that it happens. But I have to be honest. I have to be realistic here. We are shit. We're losing to Wolves. We had one shot on target at Wolves. We lost to Aston Villa. John McGinn and Ollie Watkins cooked us. There is no hope. Like, there is no possible way over 2 legs that we could beat Real Madrid. It's not going to happen. If it was a 1-leg, 1-off game, maybe there's a chance, because in 1-off games, I mean, you can easily get a result in 1 game. But we have to beat them over the course of 2 legs. And Real Madrid are the king of comebacks. So even if we somehow got a result at the Bernabeu, who's to say they're not just going to come back on us in Stamford Bridge? So you have to be perfect against Real Madrid in the course of a two-legged tie. This is why
for
they're the
two
kings.
legs.
This is why they are so good in the Champions League because, I mean, we saw it. When they lost to Man City last year, Modric said in the documentary, he said, "We're still expecting to win. We're still going to win," and they did. I
I
mean,
mean,
they did that.
even
They did it
even
every
as
round.
recently, yeah, even as recently as this year, I mean, we go 1-0 down to Barcelona. We had to go face them at the Camp Nou, the best defense in the league, the best defense in Europe, and they win 4-0. And I'm not saying that, oh yeah, we're gonna absolutely, have to do that again because I don't think we're gonna find ourselves in that scenario where we go 1-0 down. But it's just that's they still have the same DNA of that team that they always believe they can win. These players, the veterans, they go in even if we lose a match, like we'll just win it in the second leg. We'll
Yeah,
just do what we're supposed to do, and that's the mentality that this team's always going to have. But I mean, for the Chelsea fans, I really don't get it. I get the whole point of like, oh, never saying die or something, but you have to. It's written on the walls, bro. It's like you have to accept it. That like
like yeah,
you
like obviously, like I want to be
What's the point?
positive.
Yeah, what's the point of coming out and as a Chelsea fan, you could be literally in the relegation zone. You're going against the greatest team to ever be in the competition. Say, you know what, fuck it, we're gonna fucking win. Who gives a shit? It's like you have to have some type of integrity, bro. Like, come
Yeah,
on, these fans are a bit mad because I see it as well. It's like, oh, you're a fake fan. Look, I just don't get it, man. I don't know.
I understand being positive, and it's not like look, my heart still tells me that Chelsea can beat Real Madrid, but my mind has to be realistic enough to say we are losing to everyone. We're losing to Aston Villa. We're losing to Wolves. We're barely having shots on target against Wolves. I have to be realistic enough and sit here and say Real Madrid should beat us. They should wipe the floor with us. But obviously, my heart, it's telling me that Chelsea are going to somehow find a way to win because I love the club. But that doesn't mean that we're actually going to do it because I can't see it. Like there's just no possible way. I mean, I know strange things happen in football and major upsets happen, but this wouldn't be an upset. This would be a collapse. This would be like the Roman Empire falling. This is like a unheard of historic event type thing. Like it's just that's how impossible it would be for Chelsea to pull this off because we are just shocking. Like we are abysmal. Like we okay. Going into a Clasico, you said this is the type of result you want Real Madrid to have, a 6-0 dominant win against Real Valladolid. And that gave you confidence going into that match. So even if Chelsea have had a terrible season, utterly abysmal, but if we had a 3-0 win today against Wolves, new manager bounce, first match under Frank Lampard, you get a 3-0 win, João Felix gets a goal, Kai Havertz gets confidence, Enzo Fernandez does something. At least then I can say, okay, we have the new manager. We're coming off of a big win. But that gives us momentum, confidence. We can somehow find a way. We lost 1-0 to Wolves. So I can't sit here and say, oh, well, we're going to have confidence. Where the energy is going to be up. The new manager, they're going to be believing in what he's saying. Why would they? They're not going to believe in what he's saying because they just lost to Wolves. So look. I mean, I don't know. I'm not ready to give a score prediction. I think we'll have an actual preview video. Maybe we'll do, but I don't know. I just can't see a possible way that Chelsea somehow get a result against Real Madrid.
I mean, that's just how I see it going on. I think 7-0, but that's obviously going to be me. I'm going to always sound very cocky, but I think that's not outlandish to say. I think it's quite realistically a good thing that could possibly happen. But
I mean,
I mean,
I
yeah,
think
just
it
Chelsea
could.
haven't been good. I mean, I agree with the points you said. If Chelsea came out and they beat Leeds United maybe 2-0 and they looked great, it'd be, that's something to go off of. You have something to build off there. It's like having
Yeah.
a foundation for a house. But now your house is just a hole. You have a hole and you can't build a house on that,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
Is it
There's
not
no
gonna
building
work?
off of this.
You
Like,
can't
I
build
don't.
off anything of this, and it's hard. I can't even imagine how the players can respond to Frank Lampard because it's like you're not gonna be here next season, so what's the point? It's like,
Yeah.
or like I get this whole thing. Oh, the last time Chelsea had an interim manager, they won the Champions League. Bro,
Yeah.
this ain't the same. This ain't that same Chelsea team. They actually had good players back then. There's
Yeah.
actually good players. This
Yeah.
one, you
But
maybe looking at three solid
and
players.
we had a little bit of time to build before that game. Like it wasn't like we got the interim manager for this game a week before. There was a little bit of time to build in 2012 where it wasn't just like, oh well, we're immediately going into the Champions League with our interim. And even in 2021 under Thomas Tuchel, like there was a little bit of time to implement what was going on. It wasn't just instant. Oh, well, we're just instantly putting you in there right before the Champions League and hoping you can pull off an upset. It wasn't really like that. This is a Frank Lampard against all odds. You know, if he pulls this off, I mean, build him the statue outside Stamford Bridge. We should already have one, but
Oh, he is the best player that ever played at Chelsea, but still, I mean,
now you get
if he gets any type of result, like I think even if he just beats Madrid in just one game, man, I mean, you holst him up, and he's the greatest manager ever to play it for
yeah,
Chelsea or to
no,
be at Chelsea, man.
no.
But
Honestly,
like,
if Frank Lampard gets Chelsea a result at the Bernabeu, mate, fly him back first class. Get him the statue outside the stadium. I want it gold. I want it big. I'm talking the best statue in the history of football, because that's what he would deserve after that game. I mean, but realistically, there's just no way. There's just no way.
I don't think so.
But obviously now, Chelsea, we see where they kind of go from here. Obviously, there's not really much to go from here, realistically, for them. I mean, they're sitting, what is it, 11th in the Premier League. But
11th in the league.
Wolves are sitting there at 12th, trying to catch them. So, I mean, we'll see.
Wolves are on the chase.
But ultimately, you got to let us know in the comments down below what you thought of this match. What did you think of Frank Lampard's second debut, you know what I mean, as Chelsea manager? Do Chelsea have any chance against Real Madrid? Do I as a fan need to be more positive about the clubs and our outlook for Real Madrid? Let us know in the comments down below. Slap a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel for more football content. But I think without further ado, we can wrap this one up.
Let's get out of here.
So I'm Zach.
I'm G.
And we'll see y'all next time for another video. Peace.